One man, one province, one country in one city. You're watching TDC Moncton.
Well, folks, it's another Cooking with Jan episode. Unfortunately, I don't have all the ingredients, but I'm having a hankering for anything but the pot roast tonight. So I decided I'm going to make myself something easy, something quick. Anyone can do this. You just need to have access to a few things. You'll need the cheese of your choice, be it cow cheese. In my case, it's goat mozzarella cheese. It has to be firm. It has to melt well also to the temperature. You'll want feta if you want to spice it up as a Greek with some Kalamata olives or black olives. Other ingredients that you'd like, such as spinach or anything else. I'm a big fan of meat when I can get it, as long as it's not processed meat, because too much processed meat is very bad for your health. But it's going to be simple. Cheese, sauce, and the tortilla to act as the actual pizza bread. Now, the tortilla I'm choosing it doesn't have to be this brand. In fact, it's just to be this flax whole grain tortillas. Why? Because flax offers quite a lot in dietary fiber, 8% for one tortilla of this size, 8% of your daily quota. And also the fact that I don't make my sauce. I apologize, Mick. I don't make my sauce. You'll have to teach me how to make a good sauce. I remember you actually doing a vlog about it. I'll have to re-listen to it. But I don't have the time to do it. So I'm going to use canned sauce. Mine's going to be the only one that we have currently in the Maritimes that I like, which is Unico. It's a hot and spicy version, but spicy, the definition of spicy is not the same as mine. We're not talking about caliente loco spicy. We're talking about mild spice, a zing to the taste, but that's it. The tongue doesn't even dance in your mouth, but it's still delicious. So I'll bring you through the steps of preparation. What you'll need is you can either do them in the oven or in the skillet. If you want to do them quick, what you do is that you take 2 tortillas, you pre-melt the cheese in the microwave oven to actually reduce the time of it melting, unless you want it very thin or grated. You can grate it or slice it in cubes and let the heat do its job. But you have to be careful, because tortillas are, well, this bread's already cooked. It's not like pizza dough. So that means that the cooking time on the bread is going to be very reduced. It'll burn. So you have to be careful. You can put the pizza sauce in between both to make a sincronizada or quesadilla. Depending on, if you take one and fold it in half, it's a sincronizada. If you take 2, it's a quesadilla. And if you do it my way, it's going to be at-home pizza done the healthy way. There's no preservatives in the sauce. The only thing that they do is that they add citric acid to avoid spoilage, and they add cornstarch. So it's not for anyone with any bowel diseases or bowel incapacities that actually have this working against them. Those that can't digest gluten or are very intolerant or allergic to gluten, stay away from it. That's why mixed homemade sauce is probably best, but you have to take the time to do the preparation and have the ingredients. Now, as I said, I don't have the ingredients apart from these 3. So I'm going to be making it quick, easy, and I won't have you on the tripod. It's all free form right now. I'm holding you in my hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep each step, and I'll actually record them and give you further instructions. So go get your ingredients, your favorite pizza sauce, or make it if you can. Your favorite your favorite tortilla of choice, and your favorite cheese. I've got my cheese cut into thin, well, somewhat thin slices. You don't want them thicker than this, for the simple fact that thicker than this, it actually takes a while to melt. The cheese itself is dry cheese in the sense that it has less moisture than what you normally get in regular mozzarella. It does have moisture, but the problem with any cheese is that if it's too dry, heat doesn't melt it well. Look at feta, okay? It just gives it a nice tangy taste. It's sometimes if it has any creamy bits to it, you're lucky. But that's cheese. I used to be a big cow cheese fan. Now I'm a goat cheese fan because I can tolerate it without having to take any pills to help me digest my milk. You'll also need a brush. Kind of perverted, isn't it? Anyways. And with that, you'll need olive oil because you're going to be brushing your tortilla with it. You'll need your sauce ready and open to go with a big spoon to ladle it on with, and your cheese. Now you're going to do this in 3 stages. I'm going to do a 3. It's going to be the equivalent of a deep dish pizza, but not Chicago style. And it's not going to be as dripping in sauce. It's going to be covered. You're going to have cheese in between, just enough to give the cheesiness. The bread itself is going to be, each slice of tortilla is going to be coated with olive oil to avoid it soaking the Unico pizza sauce. And the bottom one is going to come crunchy. The top one is going to be slightly basted with olive oil and some sauce to finalize it, and you'll have sauce in the middle and cheese in the middle and a bit on top. But the cheese on top is best, actually, nix the cheese on top. I remember it doesn't lend to a good crunch. We'll go on. I'll do it step by step. So first tortilla that you're going to bring out is going to be laid down, and you'll do both sides because you'll want the side on the foil or on the baking tin to be protected against well, not protected, but to be proof against sticking, because trust me, if it sticks, you're up the creek without any paddles and your beautiful dish is kaput. Now you can use this in spray format. I do recommend those that love spray bottles. There are some that are, unfortunately, they're manufactured. They will not biodegrade because what happens is that they are made of plastic, but they can hold pressure, which means that you can pump them by hand, and you can actually spray any oil or any substance that you put inside on anything without having too many issues. You try to coat it as best as you can. Once this side is done, now you're ready for the next side. This one doesn't have to be as much. The bottom is always more important because that's where the heat's going to be concentrating, on the top and the bottom. And if it dries and cooks firmly to the tin, you've got one less tin to wash. That's a bad thing, because you'll want it to be able to cook again. That's the oven preheated at 350, crying out that, "Use me! Use me!" Cooking was never so sexy. Okay, now this is done. We go for the sauce. It's a pity I don't have you mounted. Actually, I'll put you here so you're a little bit. Actually, you're missing all the fun downstairs. Are you even seeing the fun downstairs? Yeah, you are. Okay, good. And by downstairs, I don't mean my pants, you perverts. Okay, so first dollop of pizza sauce. You spread it around with the flat of your spoon. If you had a ladle, you'd ladle your sauce down and you'd be doing the same thing. Now that's répandu. You put some cheese. You don't have to put very much. You just need to put as much as you want. And since I'm going to be leaving, I didn't count my slices, so I have no foggy idea how many slices I have. So I'll put 4 slices each row. That should leave me with some to put on top. Perfect. Now the next tortilla, you can leave it the bottom untouched with olive oil, but the top you'll need to actually touch with olive oil. Now, while I'm doing this, before I forget, put some cheese aside because you'll be using some cheese to garnish the top if you want, or if you want something that's not garnished, you don't need to worry about keeping cheese. But myself, I love cheese, especially in a good pizza. I love pizza without cheese too. The traditional way of making pizza was just tomato sauce with herbs tossed onto a cooked bread, and it's actually quite delicious as an appetizer. Trust me on that. New Year's Eve was never so delicious. And you'll want to actually layer it the other way around. If you go one way, you'll go this way instead for the cheese, so that you get some equal spread of cheesy distribution, or cheesy flavoredness. Cheesiness doesn't sound well. Okay. And then another tortilla on top without worrying about coating the bottom. And this is the final one. Usually when you have ingredients, it becomes thicker. I have no ingredients apart from the cheese and the sauce, so it doesn't work. A little bit of olive oil on the last one, and this one will actually give you the nice baked taste of pizza sauce on top. Okay, no more olive oil. And this one, you'll put another dollop of pizza sauce to actually coat it as best as you can. You don't have to be overly generous with the top. In fact, be a little bit miserly if you wish, because it'll actually allow you to taste differences in the unflavored version of it versus the flavor. Now, because I don't want the top cheese to start burning, we'll put this in the oven without the extra cheese. I've got 4 pieces, enough to put on top. And what you'll do is you'll put it in the oven at 350 degrees. If I haven't mentioned it, I'll mention it again. For 20 minutes to start, okay? You leave it to cook, and you come back to check. Depending on the power or strength of your oven, do it at 15, check. Keep an eye on it because, well, compared to souffle, it will not flatten if you open the door. So you can open the door if you want, or you can check through the window. But it has to start showing signs of cooking. Cheese at this temperature should start melting within a period of about 10 minutes. Maybe 5 minutes, once the material around it, the food around it, is at that same temperature. And that's the trick. That's why you're cooking it a little bit longer than 15 minutes. You're putting it at about 20. You can even put it at 30 at 350. So we'll start with that, and then we'll add on time as we need fit. But I'll keep you guys here, and well, you're not my hostages, you're my willing slaves. Just get yourselves ready for the next step, which is basically cleaning up, putting your extra sauce that you haven't used yet away so you can use it for future projects or future foods that you can throw in together. My toppings for this type of pizza, I recommend the vegetarian style toppings. Why? Because I love vegetarian pizzas. You can use broccoli, you can use cauliflower, you can use roasted red peppers, you can use olives of all sorts and kinds, you can use arugula, well, arugula, yeah, you can use arugula, you can use artichoke hearts that are marinated, oh, delish, or you can use them as is, with feta cheese, some spinach, you can use, I'm making myself water, can you imagine this? I'm hungry. I'm trying to think what else you could use, and the sky's the limit, really. It really depends on what you want. I used to be a big fan of green peppers on pizzas. Now I'm a bigger fan of other types of toppings for some odd reason. I love putting onions. Red onions are delish on the pizza. But they also give you bad breath. Some roasted garlic cloves, which to roast them, you take the bulb, you take a large clove, you cut the top off so you can access all of them. You drizzle oil of your choosing. Olive oil works best. On the top so that it actually soaks into each particular garlic bulb. You wrap it in foil, you put it in the oven at 350 degrees for about an hour, and then you close it, you let it cool down, and then you bring the garlic bulb out and you squeeze your garlic. But it's best if you actually do the garlic bulbs themselves roasted individually. Without destroying anything. You can squeeze it to make paste, or you can just peel each bulb to actually remove the sweet garlic goodness from inside. Why? Because it's so delicious on a pizza. It's not as disgusting as what people may lead you to believe. In fact, it adds character to it, and it's so delicious, smothered in cheese. Ah. Anyways, clean up, put your stuff away, and we'll be back for the rest of the steps after this time runs out. See you in a few. Ah, pizza in its natural element. Look at it cook. And it's actually, the cheese is melted inside. 20 minutes is indeed enough. And now you're going to do this. You're going to add your cheese on top and let it cook for another 5 minutes. 10 minutes max. And it should be enough for a delicious repast. Looks like a face, doesn't it? Oh no! Don't kill me! Sorry, I'm hungry. So, I'll give you a taste test when it's ready. Again, look at the animal in its shell. You bastard! You cooked my face! Shut up, I'm about to eat you. That's it. That's it. So, and all it takes about 30 minutes, 5 minutes prep time, depending on what you're going to be putting. Add in maybe 10-15 if you're using fresh veggies or fresh meats. And then the rest is just that. So I'll bring it out and do a taste test. Off its plate in about 5 minutes, not even. 5 minutes is too much. It took about 10 seconds to take it off. The foil itself did not stick at all to the bottom of the greased tortilla. Ah, que me encanta tortillas. Torta de maíz, torta de harina, torta de flax. So now I'm going to cut a piece. And listen to this if you can hear it. That's the underside. If I flip it, look. Not burnt, just crispy. Trust me, with ingredients, it's actually much, much tastier. I got some cheese and some sauce. Here goes mud in your eye, I guess. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. That's it. This is delicious. I'm off to eat. I hope you try it with your family and friends. Remember, cooking is fun. Fun when you're loving it for yourself, but even better when you're doing it with other people who enjoy cooking too. So try it. You'll like it. Well, this was Nick. Have a nice one.